Hello, it's the 6th day in August, in September actually, 2024. You're welcome to Nationwide. I am Ogochkuka Ona. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, and the representative of the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP in Nigeria, LC Atafua, have signed a memorandum of understanding on capacity building to enhance productivity of legislators and the staff of the House. The Speaker described the signing of the MOU as landmark and a moment of history for both the UNDP and Nigeria to strengthen collaboration for the implementation of parliamentary development programs for legislators, staff, and clerks.
And because of the importance of that particular agreement, UNDP has graciously accepted to even hire an office dedicated to this particular project, employ staff to drive this process from the beginning to the end. So this is a moment of history for UNDP and for Nigeria. I believe at the end of the day, Nigerian legislature will move from strength to strength. Our capacity to deliver on the promises of our people, on all key areas of our concerns, will be strengthened.
The UNDP representative also commended the Speaker for his all-inclusive drive, especially on the issue of women inclusion and participation in politics and governance, which he emphasized is one of the focus areas of the organization.
Certainly, the Parliamentary Development Program is one that is tied to the visionary leadership of this country, of course, the Renewed Hope Agenda, the 8 points that you have for the House, and we'll make sure that we help implement that to the very core, and to make sure that our support to Nigeria is one that is strategic, that is robust, and that will ensure that indeed our country is able to deliver on its development aspirations.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has stressed the critical need for aligning subnational governments with federal standards to maintain the integrity of Nigeria's fiscal chain. Speaking at the National Summit of Fiscal Responsibility Agencies in Abuja, Akume reaffirmed the government's commitment to fostering transparency and accountability in the public sector. Alika Okpanachi-Arua reports that Akume, represented at the summit, emphasized the federal government's ongoing efforts to ensure prudent resource management.
The federal government has been actively working to ensure the prudent management of national resources and enforcing fiscal discipline across public sectors. To sustain this trajectory, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, is stressing the need for improved adherence to the Fiscal Responsibility Act, particularly regarding borrowing practices, and calling for increased technical support to local government councils to adopt fiscal responsibility measures effectively.
This national summit has therefore been organized to strengthen the coordination of fiscal responsibility policies and practices nationwide.
The challenge is simply enforcement, or the lack of it is the basic albatross of compliance.
We are one people. At Fiscal Responsibility Commission, we believe that we should build a resilient framework for fiscal accountability, transparency in our nation, because it's one economy we have.
Like the Akwa Ibom State particular, we have a sound law with clear defined sanctions and penalties, clear defined.
Discussions at the summit focused on advancing fiscal governance nationwide. In Abuja, Alika Okpanachi, Arua, NTA News.
Now, more than 1,000 information and cybersecurity experts have been trained to help protect Nigeria's cyberspace, which is becoming increasingly unsafe for unsuspecting users. This initiative is part of Ministry of Education's Innovation, Development and Effectiveness in the Acquisition of Skills, Ideas project with support from the World Bank. Chidimma Nduwisi reports.
Increase in the use of digital technology has resulted in cybersecurity risks. Rahab, a poultry farmer, had an unpleasant experience a month ago when her social media account, or link to her customer base, was hacked. Clientele and business opportunities lost.
I got an email. I was supposed to confirm a link. After confirming the link, I realized I lost access to my account.
A large number of cyber users continue to experience various forms of cyber attacks due to knowledge and skills gap in cybersecurity. It is estimated that Nigeria currently needs more than 500,000 cybersecurity experts that will develop programs and solutions on cybersecurity. And that's what the Cyber 3030 project, facilitated by the Ministry of Education's Ideas project, is addressing. The goal is that by 2030, 300,000 youths would have been trained to become information and cybersecurity experts. First leg of the exercise has produced the likes of 39-year-old Amina, our sit-at-home mom, who has transformed into a cybersecurity professional within 4 months.
Can do thorough cybersecurity audit and assessment for organizations, and also provide them with how to mitigate threats and develop policies for them.
Now we are about to take them for mentorships, so they can, and internships where they can learn on the job. Some are startups, some of our trainees have already gotten jobs even before they finish their training.
This program will help to reduce unemployment, it will help to reduce poverty, it will help to reduce youth restiveness.
Well, for self-preservation, experts advise cyber users to ignore links from unknown email addresses or on social media platforms, and not to divulge any bank account information, including codes, to any caller. In Abuja, Chidimma Nduwisi, NTA News.
The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to creating job opportunities to the Nigerian teeming youths has received a renewed impetus with the Youth Transformation Program of the National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission, set to graduate more than 5,000 youths. Fatima Aliyu reports that to this end, NHYPADEC has secured collaboration with Corporate Affairs Commission to register beneficiaries' business names free of charge.
The National Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission in 2022 trained more than 5,000 young individuals under its Youth Transformation Program across 6 initial member states of Benue, Kebbi, Kogi, Kwara, Niger and Plateau states of skills in computer engineering, tailoring, makeup artistry and various other handcrafts, with a view to equipping them of the tools to shape their futures and contribute to their communities. To put these youths on the right footing, procurement of startup packs worth more than 1.8 billion naira has reached advanced stage, expected to be distributed to the beneficiaries at the graduation ceremony to be held soon. Therefore, this training of staff of NHYPADEC is to help guide these young entrepreneurs through the process of registering their businesses with the Corporate Affairs Commission.
The essence of this is once they start their business, they are now registered and licensed and recognized by law. And this also gives them opportunity to explore the various financial options available.
NHYPADEC, we see them following that process of a complete cultivation of the youth to become successful in our dear nation.
NHYPADEC has secured the collaboration of Corporate Affairs Commission which gave 50% discount of the registration fee, with NAPADEC paying the balance of 50%. Fatima Liu, NTA News.
And now talking road infrastructure, the Ministry of Works has commenced the process of strengthening its mode of contract administration, supervision, quality assurance through personnel training. This is in line with the minister's drive to deliver quality infrastructure across the country. Abdullahi Mohammed reports.
Nigeria has within the last 2 decades succeeded in building state-of-the-art infrastructure, translating into hundreds of kilometers of highways and gigantic bridges across the Niger and Benue. This could not have come without key input from the supervisory pool of the ministry. To keep the team of controllers and directors of works on their toes, back to class they were sent, with ethics in the construction industry leading the course outline.
When the minister came in, he made a few notes of areas that he wanted to make sure that the personnel that carries out most of this project construction and supervision, they are able to come up with the necessary level of ethics in engineering to enable them to carry out those functions.
If you award a contract and there's no proper supervision, you are not going to get value for money in the project. So what we are going to do and what we are going to emphasize is that there should be proper procedure for supervision of projects. And we'll do the discussion and come up with the best procedures.
As engineers, we know that training and retraining is a lifelong endeavor. Our profession demands for that.
With an interactive session revealing, a take-home comes handy.
The resource persons are well-experienced people in this profession and in this field. They have seen a lot, they have consulted. Some of them are both on the side of the professional aspect and the political aspect. So they know where the problems are.
The resource persons were drawn from the Association of Consulting Engineers of Nigeria. Abdullah Mohammed, NTA News.
The persistent attacks and kidnapping of passengers along waterways in Rivers State by pirates has created a wave of fear among riverine dwellers and stakeholders in the maritime business sector. Stakeholders are urgently calling for renewed synergy among relevant authorities and the communities to stem the onslaughts along the major waterways in the state. Robinson Daretede has details.
The resurgence of piracy on the waterways in Rivers State recently assumed a dangerous dimension with the kidnapping of passengers for ransom and their valuables stolen. Barely a week after protests over surge in piracy, about 10 passengers were allegedly whisked away along the Bonny waterway, bringing to 13 the number of passengers that have been abducted within 2 weeks. The criminals mostly target passengers traveling from Port Harcourt to Bonny, Bile, Kula, and other prominent riverine communities. Both riders regret that security gunboats only provide surveillance to the multinational companies and their vessels, but do not respond to distress calls by the locals.
Every day, they kidnap, they rape, they release, they collect. So please, we are asking the government to come to our aid because the Bonny Sea route is nothing to write home about.
They go at random points. We know the flash points because you cannot transverse. There are some bypass you cannot pass. You cannot drive main channels. So at those bypass where they have a shortcut out, when the tidal water is up, those are the time they come to attack us, Bile, Cotton Channel rivers.
In this situation, we would like governments at least to put gunboats in the river so that we, from position place to place, so that we can be protected.
Some security operatives blame the situation on insufficient logistics to respond to emergencies, leading stakeholders to propose that government set up a multidimensional security task force involving members of the communities to address the insecurity in the waterways.
Even if incident happen, they will not even come to your aid because they will concentrate on their disease. Sometimes when you call it, they say that is not their area of jurisdiction. So we want government. Let government also assign security that we can call and say, look, that will man the waterways and we know that they are our own.
Collaboration from other littoral states like Bayelsa may also be useful in addressing the insecurity from their hands. Robinson Daratede, NTA News.
And Robinson Daratide is also standing by with an update on the security situation along the waterways. Hello, Robinson. In your background report, you told us that 13 persons were kidnapped within 2 weeks, while some of them were raped. So what's the situation at this time, security-wise?
Yes, we are presently at the Nembe Bonibile jetty. And this is one of the major jetties in Port Harcourt where people travel to different riverine communities within the state. It is important to note that many communities in over 7 local government areas can only be accessed through the riverine, through the waterways. So this makes it an important transport system, the water transport system, an important transport system in the state. And pirates take advantage of this high number of people that are traveling on a daily basis to kidnap them and also to collect their valuables. As we speak now, just as we said on the background report, about 13 persons were allegedly still being kidnapped, and up to now, nothing much has been heard about their release, although some of the union workers told us that when it comes to release, it is mostly a negotiation between the family members and the kidnappers, and most times when they are released, they do not really announce their release because of fear of not being attacked again. But basically, the issue has caused a serious concern in the state because many people now fear to travel to their communities. If you look at the jetty, you will still see a large number of people that are still standing by to travel despite the fact that this is happening. This to tell you that in River State, traveling to the riverine communities is on a daily basis. And they also informed us because last week they protested to the Nigerian police headquarters where the Commissioner of Police assured them that in collaboration with the state government, they will provide the necessary logistics in terms of gunboats to ensure that this ugly incident is curbed in the state. Basically, people are calling on the government, particularly the state government, just as a large number of vehicles were bought for the police last week, they are saying that the same logistics should be provided in the waterways. And one aspect that people are also calling on the government to do is to form a task force that will comprise the community members that will be able to help in curbing this issue because the community members know the routes on the waterways. So this is the situation for now.
All right, thank you very much, Robinson. It's indeed a very worrisome situation, but we do hope the security agencies are going to tackle it headlong. Thank you so much for that wonderful contribution.
Thank you.
All right, now the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, alerts some states in the north central and southern parts of the country of a possible overflow of the River Niger and Benue that could trigger flooding in riverine communities. The states that are highly probable are Benue, Kogi, Anambra, Delta, Imo, Rivers, and Bayelsa. A statement by NEMA released on Friday says the notice is to allow local governments and communities to take actions to mitigate the risk of flooding. Some of the actions expected to be taken include immediately constructing temporary flood barriers, evacuating from floodplains to safe higher grounds, and avoiding crossing flooded areas. The agency advises communities to stay informed through weather updates and flood warnings from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Hydrological Services Agency. All right, Adiola will be having the next set of reports as we link up with her in Lagos.
Thank you, Ogochukwuka. To change the narrative of small businesses going into extinction within its first 5 years of establishment, the need to incorporate risk analysis into management strategy right from inception has become imperative. In this report, Larry Bilei had a chat with experts in risk management on procedures for sustaining continued operations of any enterprise.
Right from the process of setting up a small and medium-scale enterprise are numerous challenges of inadequate working capital, stiff competition from bigger companies, sourcing materials, and low capacity utilization. Even with grants and backing from government, these hiccups might affect the growth of the business when fully operational. The need to incorporate risk analysis plan in dealing with these challenges becomes essential to the survival of any enterprise. Many big business ventures have failed due to the inability to properly factor in risk analysis.
Find that a lot of SMEs, for instance, simple risk mitigation strategies such as insurance, they don't have in place. So if anything goes bust, they're unduly exposed.
You need to, first of all, know the business itself. Now, to know the business, you need to know the people that are into the business. You need to get some level of knowledge, probably do your apprenticeship.
To avoid businesses going under within 18 months of its establishment, experts encouraged entrepreneurs to either get the training on the risk side of the business they are in, or one of the first employees of the business must have risk management skills.
Establishments have come to realize how significant managing risk can be to the sustenance of their businesses, and so they do that by establishing risk department.
Outsourcing can also be considered, and this will help in the step-to-step analysis of crisis in any unforeseen circumstances. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
It is no secret that when one is overworked or stressed, it can lead to a variety of symptoms that can affect one's well-being. Therefore, work-life balance must involve consciously managing time and relationship between work and personal life. While this may seem difficult or impossible to achieve, depending on one's lifestyle, certain skills of preference is of utmost importance to achieving work-life balance. Adejoke Odeka will tell us more.
There is no doubt that when work demands more of an employee's time or attention, other responsibilities or passions, especially for career worker personnel, suffers.
I've had that experience of working far from home where I have to take transport, and sometimes it's not funny at all.
This often affects the home front where the children are worst hit. According to Nigeria's Labour Act 2004, daily hours of work are to be fixed by mutual agreement or by collective bargaining. Section 13, subsection 3 of the Act makes provision for rest intervals of not less than 1 hour in total if the workday is longer than 6 hours, and for 1 day's rest per week in Section 13, subsection 7. Are these being adhered to?
This is Lagos, for instance. You don't expect having a so-called balancing when it comes to Lagos.
Experts are of the opinion that a work-life balance style of life brings about greater productivity, improved mental alertness,
and a number of triggers for mental health. It could be domestic issues, it could be work-related stress, it could be transportation stress and the likes.
Work-life balance is very company dependent. If companies have very healthy work culture, it's very possible for people. But if your company doesn't have very healthy work culture, it's a lot of struggle.
Work-life balance is critical for mental well-being as well as job performance, but not always easy to achieve. Experts, however, advised that striking a balance between the two is necessary to avoid consequences that may be fatal to the worker's health and lead to low business productivity. In Lagos, Adejoke Odeka, NTA News.
Indeed, we need to balance work and lifestyle. And those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide will continue with a smile in our Sokoto Network Center when we return from this break.
And welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. The Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy came in the wake of intensified preparations for the conduct of local government elections by the Sokoto State Independent Electoral Commission. The election that is coming up this month, stakeholders maintain, will strengthen democratic governance and enhance quality of life of people at the grassroots. Elato Abdullahi reports.
Section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, provides for the system of local government by democratically elected local government councils, stating its structure, composition, finance, and functions. Granting autonomy to the 774 local government councils in the country is critical for good governance and accountability at the local level, as fiscal independence will enable the local authorities fund their priorities rather than relying on state government's handouts to discharge its mandate. In Sokoto State, though there were initial appeals by some stakeholders to push the election forward, the Supreme Court order compelled the State Independent Electoral Commission to stood its ground to conduct the elections on 21st of September 2024.
The only little challenge we had was that some parties could not complete their primaries on time in accordance with the initial timetable. So they came to us to plead for a little more time to enable them to conclude the primary elections. We gave them more time.
We will support full autonomy for LGs, for them to continue to perform their responsibilities.
With this development of giving them their autonomy by the Supreme Court actually is a welcome development, and we are going to experience very rapid development in the local government.
Of recent, Sokoto State House of Assembly amended the law on tenure of local government councils from 2 to 3 years as part of reforms in the public service. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Zamfara State Government has donated 100 million naira and 10,000 bags of assorted grains to the victims of the recent flood disaster in Gumi local government area of the state. Governor Dauda Lawal, who announced the donations while on sympathy visit to the affected communities, also unveiled the state government's plan to resettle the victims. Jamila Ibrahim has more.
The recent flooding in Gumi local government area of Zamfara State, which submerged thousands of houses, farmlands and livestock, has resulted in massive displacement of households, the situation requiring urgent intervention of the relevant authorities. After receiving reports from various committees immediately deployed by the state government to commiserate with the victims and assess the situation for appropriate action, Governor Dauda Lawal is now at the ravaged communities to see things for himself. The Emir of Gumi's palace was the governor's first point of call, where he sympathized with the emirate over the sad event and announced the state government's donations of 100 million naira and 10,000 bags of assorted grains to the victims. This is in addition to the allocation of a plot of land away from the danger zone to each of the households that lost their shelters to the flood. The Emir of Gumi, Justice Lawal Hassan retired, who said more than 10,200 households have lost their houses to the flood, uploaded the governor for his concern to the plight of the victims. The governor was also in Geri district, which appears to be the community was hit by the disaster, where he assured them of the government's commitment to taking proactive measures to guard against the reoccurrence of the tragedy.
We are also going to build drainages as well as try to make sure we work on the dams and, if possible, provide additional dams that will take care of this situation.
Members of the community were obviously pacified by the governor's visit, and they came out in their large number to accord him a rousing welcome. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Ogochikuka.
Thank you, Asmao. Now, the federal Unity colleges and other federal government schools will soon resume academic activities after a long break, but that is not the case for students of the federal government academy, Suleja. Zinred Demun tells us why.
The school, also known as the Center for the Gifted and Talented, is currently facing severe dilapidation of facilities, making learning environment challenging for both students and teachers. Although efforts have been made by the Parent-Teachers Association and the school's alumni to provide interventions, the measures have proved insufficient. And this led to the minister's visit to carry out a thorough assessment of the situation.
Now, what we have seen, it doesn't really answer our expectations of the type of school that it should be. They have achieved some mileage, but that's not the destination we should be looking at. It's the general decay across schools in the country, and this is a federal school that I understand is worse in many places than the other tiers of government. But we have to up our ante. We are also satisfied and actually pleased with the skills acquisition center of the school. It's very robust.
Not satisfied with the situation on ground, Professor Tahir Mamman extends the school's resumption date to the 18th of September to allow the completion of ongoing renovations at the school. He assures that the school will receive necessary attention given its place as a center focused on promoting skills acquisition. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
And still talking education matters, our digital quality assurance platform called FECAS Collect, designed for e-reporting of school monitoring activities and expected to revolutionize the way quality assurance is conducted in schools, has been launched by the Universal Basic Education Commission. Christiana Akonde reports that it is also to help enhance efficiency and transparency.
Transition from a traditional paper-based system to a digital form aims to streamline processes, reduce delays, and provide more accurate and timely data on the state of education in schools nationwide. With this system, quality assurance officers will be able to monitor critical aspects such as teachings and learning standards, infrastructure, and school management practices more effectively. By minimizing reliance on manual data entry, FECAS Collect reduces human error and ensures precise data collection and analysis.
The launch of the electronic quality assurance platform marks a significant step forward in harnessing space technology to improve the quality of education in Nigeria.
What we are having now is an automated system, and the server will automatically collate all these things and produce a report.
Beyond improving data accuracy and timeliness, the platform is expected to foster greater accountability and transparency within the education sector.
The woman is the first human, a linguistic exploration of her personhood by Professor Iyabode Omolara Nwabueze, who describes a woman as special creation. Delivering the 27th inaugural lecture series of the National Open University of Nigeria, the professor of English language says a woman must not be disparaged or looked down on in the society as she remains the glory of our nation. She says if given the opportunity as her male counterpart, she would excel in all endeavors.
So every child was born a person. Every child, whether male or female, it is decided that socialize you to your gender. The humanity of the woman is the basic. The woman is as basic a human being as a man. The brain of a woman is not less than that of a man. It's an insult to say that you want to begin to give concession to a woman. Let her test her brain against that of the male and let her achieve.
Testify that we also believe that the woman is first human.
Professor Nwabueze calls on government to provide a level playing ground for women to realize their dreams. And from education now to agriculture, the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization was established over 3 decades ago by the federal government to develop and promote agricultural mechanization technologies for the transformation of the nation's agricultural sector. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya in this report takes a look at how well the center has been able to boost food security in the country since its establishment.
Established by Act number 35 of the National Assembly in 1990, the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, Idofia, Kwara State, has a mandate to encourage and engage in adaptive and innovative research towards the development of indigenous machines for farming as well as processing techniques. For the past 34 years of establishment, various agricultural machines such as weeders, row planters, multi-grain seed cleaners, and tractors have been produced by the center.
We have embarked on standardization of the already developed technologies so as to increase the performances, the aesthetics of these machines in order for it to be acceptable by the end users.
We don't just extend technology, we extend the business behind the technology. If we are going to extend a cassava harvester to you, we are going to also extend a business plan that you will do to be able to have a return.
We decided to look into the winnower, which we call multi-seed cleaner, and the thresher. And we were able to standardize it within the first 1 year in office of the ED.
Aside from the production of various agricultural implements, the center has also been sharing its products to various states of the Federation, thereby getting across to farmers who need them to ease farming activities. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
All right, our next set of reports will be coming from Port Harcourt as we link up with the zone.
Port Harcourt. Governor Siminalayi Fubara says the modern neuropsychiatric and new general hospitals, both in Rumigbo, aims at tackling mental illness and will be delivered in the next 8 months. Governor Fubara, who spoke to newsmen shortly after inspecting the ongoing projects at Rumigbo in Obiakpo local government area, reaffirmed that these are geared towards advancing healthcare delivery across the state. Osinachi Samuel reports.
Since the creation of Rivers State, this is the first time Obiakpo local government area will be having a general hospital. The construction of a modern general hospital at Rumigbo and remodeling of the neuropsychiatric hospital, the people believe is a necessary value addition to Governor Fubara's drive for medical practice in Rivers State.
We decided to build a modern psychiatric hospital, knowing fully well the problem that we have today. So the facility we are putting on ground here is a world-class standard that will take care of these challenges.
The governor expressed satisfaction with the level of work done, noting that his administration decided to upgrade the psychiatric hospital from its old state to provide life-saving treatment for Rivers people, knowing the challenges of mental health in the society.
We're building a standard general hospital for the Obiakpo here. These are what we have come to see, and I can tell you I'm impressed with what is happening. It's not up to 1 month that this job was awarded, and you can see the extent of work that is going on.
The governor was conducted around the facility by Senator John Mbata and chairman of the construction firm handling the job. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Samuel, NTA News.
The Nigerian Customs Service is enforcing emergency protocols at Onne Airport, Rivers State, over threat to national security by syndicates using the facility to smuggle illicit items into the country. This comes as the service confiscated drugs and contraband items with duty paid value worth 31.2 billion naira at Onne Airport. Kingsley Amaji reports.
At a time that the federal government is making efforts to enhance trade facilitation and ease of doing business, criminal elements are taking undue advantage of the opportunity to commit crime. Controller General of Nigeria Customs Service, Bashiru Adeniyi, at a news briefing in Onne, said Onne Port is being used for dangerous and illegal cargoes by unscrupulous elements. He disclosed that the command's latest seizures of illicit importation stood at 31.2 billion naira duty paid value.
The operation that resulted into this seizure is not only a testament to the command's vigilance, but also to the effectiveness of our intelligence network and critical partnerships that we have maintained with other security agencies.
For the controller of the Nigerian Customs Service, the emergency measures that will be put in place in the next 3 months would have all containers that are passing through on airport subjected to physical examination.
This is not just a customs issue. It is that of a national security concern that affects every Nigerian.
Seized items had false or under declaration of contents. He urged lawful importers to see the emergency measures as necessary sacrifice to preserve national security. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Abuja for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Thank you for staying tuned. And just before we joined Port Harcourt and, of course, that break, we brought you a story on the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, which is aimed to boost food security in the country. We'll now be joining Aisha Abubakar Yahaya live at the center to give us more updates on activities there. So, Aisha, if you can hear me from your assessment tour of the center, would you say the center has been able to achieve its mandate since its establishment in the last 34 years?
Thank you, Ogochukwu. Well, to an extent, I can say the center is nearing achieving its mandate since its establishment, given the fact that the federal government has invested so much in this place. And with the federal government's investment, a lot of production has taken place. And up to this moment, production is still ongoing, ranging from various agricultural implements and agricultural things that can be used by farmers. And aside all this production that takes place here, training of farmers also takes place here, and even training and retraining of personnel. And this can definitely boost the food security in the country. So far, I can say that the center is nearing achieving its mandate.
Very well, that's good to know. So one of the directors at the center talked about the need to have functional liaison offices across the country. What's your take on this?
Okay, well, with what the officer said, he is just a way of expanding the center, because the concentration is just in this Kwara state where the center is built. But if the center can have other offices across the geopolitical zones of the states, of the country, I believe the center can be improved upon, and food security can also be boosted, would be a thing of a good one for Nigeria.
Of course, thank you so much, Aisha, for that contribution. All right, Mary is in Jos for more reports on Nationwide today. Hello, Mary.
Welcome to Jos. Plateau State government has awarded contracts for the construction of 55 new secondary schools in the state. Governor Caleb Mutfwang, who gave this indication in Jos, says it is a bold step to create conducive environment for teaching and learning. Ndayang and Yebagyang report.
Governor Caleb Mutfwang, while addressing stakeholders, said the Agile Model Schools project is a comprehensive initiative designed to transform the education sector. It encompasses the construction of 35 junior secondary schools and 20 senior secondary schools.
It's of importance that these schools are being dedicated particularly to empowering the girl child. I think this is very important. It means that we want to give quality education to our women.
The governor urged the contractors to carry out quality jobs as the state will not compromise standard.
We want these projects to become the reference for our educational infrastructure going forward. Therefore, I'd like to implore you, don't cut corners. We will definitely ensure that these projects meet the best of standards. We're going to ensure that our supervisory mechanism is top-notch.
This occasion marks a pivotal moment in our collective effort to transform the educational landscape of our beloved state. The construction of these agile modern schools is not just an infrastructural project, but a bold step towards ensuring that every child in Plateau State has access to quality education.
The contractors promised to abide by the contractual agreement. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
This command says its fight against crimes would be sustained until there's a significant drop in the crime rates in the state. This was while briefing newsmen in Jos on arrest of suspects for various crimes. Again, Ndeyang and the Abuja has more.
Parading 18 suspects before newsmen, the State Commissioner of Police, Emmanuel Adesina, says they were arrested for various offenses. These include criminal conspiracy, intimidation, extortion, abduction attempt, and murder. Others are cultism, unlawful possession of locally made pistols, armed robbery, culpable homicide, defilement, and unlawful possession of prohibited firearms.
On 28th of August, intelligence report revealed the activities of some syndicates of motorcycle snatchers operating around the area of Shendam local government area. Upon the receipt of the intelligence report, operatives from the command were mobilized. Consequently, one Aruna Abubakar, also known as Negi, was arrested.
The CP restates the commitment of the command to reducing crimes to its barest minimum, urging the public to give useful and timely information to the police for action. In Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide will still continue in Abuja with Ugochukwu.
Thank you, Mary, for your contribution. And straight up to sports. Onyinyechi Mark has won Nigeria's first gold medal at the 2024 Paris Paralympics with a lift of 150 kg to set a new world record in the 61 kg powerlifting Friday afternoon. Olumide Eguntola brings us details of this and other trending stories in sports. That's Nationwide today. Thank you for watching, and always remember to play your part in nation building.